Alright, so in honor of the Arizona Coyotes moving to Salt Lake City, Utah, I'm going to be relocating them here in NHL 24, and I'm also going to be winning them a Stanley Cup. Now, you're probably wondering how on earth am I going to do that, considering the Coyotes have not been a good team for a very long time and can't even sell out an arena. Well, here in Utah, things are about to change, as every single season we do not win the Stanley Cup. I'm going to go to the wheel, I'm going to spin it, whatever team we land on. I'm allowed to choose one player from that team to add to the Utah Grizzlies. That is right, boys. That's the name of the team. Right now, it says Clayton Keller is the captain of the roster, as we are not going to be the Salt Lake City Grizzlies. Hopefully, in real life, they also just call them Utah, not Salt Lake City. But regardless, now let's go ahead and take a look at the Utah Grizzlies roster here in NHL 24. On the first line, we're going to have Clayton Keller at an 88 overall. He's going to be our highest rated player. We also have Nick Schmaltz on the roster, as well as Maselli. On the second line, Dylan Guenther actually grows a lot in this game, but he's going to start out as 78. We also have Alexander Kerfoot. Now, defensively, we honestly don't really have much outside of Sean Durzi, who is our best defender statistically at an 84 overall. And in goal, we are rocking with Connor Ingram at an 85 and Veg Melka, who's an 84. So this roster definitely needs improving, but do not worry, do not fear. Lepeka Pasta is here as the GM, and he's going to be adding a bunch of players to the roster until the Utah Grizzlies win a Stanley Cup. So let's go ahead and start simulating. Also, if you guys are happy that the Arizona Coyotes are moving out of Arizona, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single live stream or video that I put out. The playoffs are right around the corner, boys. I'm excited. You guys probably are as well. We also have merch. The link is in the description if you want to take a look. We have nice hoodies and t-shirts. So Utah, in their very first season in the NHL, are not going to be very good, as we ended up finishing 7th in the Central, going 32, 43, and 7. Now, I have heard a couple of rumors that if Utah does get an NHL team, I think the two teams in Alberta, which are the Flames and Oilers, are going to move to the Central, and then the Utah Grizzlies would be in the Pacific. But regardless, here in the Central, Dallas is going to be the best team, winning 53 games, and for the entire NHL, it is the defending champs in the Vegas Golden Knights. As they did win 57 games, Dallas won 53, Florida was up there, Colorado, Winnipeg, and Carolina. These are pretty accurate, especially for an EA Sports simulation. All these teams have been very good over the regular season. Tampa Bay was up there. If we take a look at the bottom, San Jose was the worst team. Utah was not far behind, though. Loston Krause is going to end up leading our team in scoring. He had 27 goals and 57 points. Clayton Keller, man, he had an absolutely terrible season. Only 17 goals and 57 points. He had 86 last season in real life, also 37 goals, so that was not a good season whatsoever by him. Maselli had 56, Bukestad 52, Guenther 49, Nick Schmaltz wasn't very good. If we take a look at Connor Ingram, 24, 32, and 6, 4 shutouts, not really the greatest stats, 3 goals against the game. Now for the entire NHL, Nathan MacKinnon is going to lead in scoring with 114, followed by Quinn Hughes, who had 108, Mitch Marner was up there, Jason Robertson had a good season, Matthew Tkachuk had 102, Kucherov only 102, in real life he's got like 140 points, one away from 100 assists. Also, McDavid hit it, I believe, last night. Austin Matthews is going to score 71 goals. He might end up scoring 70 in real life, but then there's a big gap to Kirill Kaprizov, who had 48. Jarrett McCann had 47. Bedard, as a rookie, was up there with 46. Kyle Connor had a good season, as well as Nate Dogg, as he had 43 goals. If we take a look at goalies, Aiden Hill is going to break the single season record for wins with 51. Jake Ottinger had 47. Hellbuck was up there too. If we take a look at the shutout side, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is going to lead with 7 on the season. And obviously, we would end up missing the playoffs. So no playoff hockey for Utah just quite yet. But that is coming soon, boys. You gotta trust. Let me cook. And the Winnipeg Jets are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating the Rangers in 7 games in the final. Shout out to Winnipeg, man, after a terrible offseason. And honestly, terrible playoff run last year, getting beat by Vegas in 5 games. If we take a look at the playoffs, Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele are going to tie for the most points at 24, followed by Nikolai Ehlers, who had 23. Tyler Toffoli was up there, as well as Josh Morrissey and Chris Kreider. Nathan MacKinnon is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews won the Maurice Richard. The Norris to Quinn Hughes. The Conn Smythe will end up going to Josh Morrissey. Jake Ottinger is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Barkov. All right, so here we are on the wheel. It is now time to spin it, whatever team we land on. I'm allowed to choose one player from that roster. Anybody am I choosing? And the first team we are going to be getting here is the Calgary Flames, which honestly aren't a great team to get. They don't have that many great pieces. they're probably going to go into a rebuild very shortly here in real life. All right, so the very first player that I will be adding to the Utah Grizzlies is going to be none other than Mackenzie Weegar, 86 overall, the highest rated player on Calgary right now in the game. So there wasn't too many great choices that I could have gone with, but I am pretty solid having Weegar as a top-line defenseman, 86 overall, definitely an improvement. I don't know how much of an improvement, though, honestly, as I do still believe that we are many pieces away from contending for a Stanley Cup, let alone making the playoffs. So we might make the playoffs, sneak in at least, but I don't see us winning a Stanley Cup without at least adding a few more players to the roster, including a goaltender, because, I mean, Connor Ingram at an 85 is not the greatest to have as your starting goalie for the playoffs. And yet again, for a second season in a row, we are going to finish second last in the Central as we went 33, 43, and 6, only 72 points on the season. Winnipeg was the best in our division, winning 55 games. If we take a look at the entire NHL, they were also the best with 115 points, followed by Tampa Bay. Vegas was up there, Dallas. Somehow the Calgary Flames, after losing Mackenzie Weegar, are going to win 51 games. Boston was up there, as well as Toronto, who have to play Boston in round number 1. That is not going to be fun for any Leaf fans. San Jose, again, is the worst team in the NHL, followed by Chicago, Philly, and then Utah. As we have a long way to go, boys. We're not a great team at all. Maselli is going to end up leading our team in scoring with 61 points. He was also a minus 18, but pretty much everybody on our roster was a minus. Followed by Clayton Keller, who had 56, also 25 goals, so I guess somewhat of a comeback season. Not really, though. Nick Schmaltz had 54, Gunther 46, Weegar had 45. I mean, take a look at these minuses, boys. Minus 22, minus 20, 19, 19, 18, 18, 17. Holy hell, we were a bad team. Vejmelka was not our starter. Ingram went 23, 31, and 4. And really not great stats, as we are going to need a goaltender. I've lost all hope in him. I really didn't have any hope to begin with. Connor McDavid's going to lead everybody in scoring with 113 points, followed by William Nylander, who had 103. Connor Bedard had 102. Austin Matthews was up there with a 100-point season. Kucherov barely hit 99. If we take a look at the goals here, Matthews going to lead with 65. Pasta was really close, one behind at 65. If we take a look at the goals here, Matthews is going to finish with 66. David Pasternak had one less at 65, so he was very close. Jason Robertson had 50, McKinnon 49, and Bedard 48. And I don't believe Ingram's going to be anywhere near the top, but Hellebuck is going to have the most wins at 51, and the most shutouts will go to UC Saros, who had 8. And the New York Rangers are going to get their revenge over last season, beating the Vancouver Canucks in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, so we have more riots in Vancouver. I mean, that would not go over well whatsoever. Austin Matthews is going to win the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, and the Hart Trophy. Actually, the Hart Trophy is going to go to Nylander. The Art Ross to McDavid, the Norris to Cale Makar. Roslovic is somehow going to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Hellebuck the Vezina, and the Selke will go back to Barkov yet again. All right, so here we are spinning the wheel yet again. Last time, I believe we got Calgary, and now we are going to be getting the Arizona Coyotes, so that's actually going to be a respin, considering Arizona is no longer a franchise in the NHL. Boo-hoo. But, I mean, nobody ever went to Coyotes games anyways. They're playing at a goddamn college hockey rink. And the Nashville Predators, I can live with that. I know exactly who I'm going to choose from that roster. So, I'm pretty sure this is not a surprise to anybody that I will be adding Roman Josi to the Utah Grizzlies. He's a 91 overall. He's by far our best defenseman and the best player on our team. I mean, he was obviously the best choice. I could have gone with UC Saros and snagged a goaltender right off rip here, but I think we will build from the back end, then we'll go forwards, and maybe I'll slot in a goalie here and there. Depends on who we land on, of course. So the Utah Grizzlies are going to have somewhat of an improvement off of last season. We are now 5th in the Central as we went 37, 41, and 4, 78 points. Again, missing the playoffs, but that is an improvement. If we take a look at the entire NHL, the Dallas Stars were the best. They won 56 games, followed by Boston. Vancouver was up there, LA, and Detroit. Roman Josi is going to go ahead and lead our team in scoring with 79 points. He also had 18 goals, so it's a pretty decent season overall. Keller had 69. Nice. Also 28 goals. Maselli 53. Gunther 51. I mean, outside of that, nobody was really good. Our goalies were not very good again. They split more games this season than last year. Connor McDavid yet again is going to lead everybody in scoring, this time with only 101 points, which is very shocking. Mikko Rantanen had 97. Robertson 96. Quinn Hughes 93. McKinnon was up there as well as Jack Hughes. Now on the goal side, Matthews is going to lead with 53, followed by Pasternak's 45. Brock Besser had 43. Shout out to him. Zach Hyman 41, DeBrincat 41, and Cole Caulfield as well. And the Florida Panthers will go on and win the Stanley Cup as they defeat Colorado in 6 games in the finals. Also, shout out to Toronto for making the conference finals of all teams. Jason Robertson is going to win the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy, the Art Ross to McDavid, Maurice Richard to Matthews, and Norris to Cale Makar. If we take a look at the Conn Smythe, Sam Reinhart is going to take it. I mean, in real life, he's had like 55 goals on the season, which is insane. Cam Talbot is somehow going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to the best player in the world today, and Connor McDavid also just hit 100 assists last night, I believe. Actually, no, 2 nights ago? I think it was 2 nights ago. Alrighty, back on the wheel yet again. We are going to be spinning it, and hopefully we get a very good team to land on here. Again, we're going to land on Arizona. Are you kidding me? Honestly, I should have just removed them from the wheel for this video, but I use this wheel for almost every single time that I end up spinning it, so please give me a good team, please. The Ottawa Senators, the Philadelphia Flyers are the next team that we're landing on. Not a great choice, honestly, but I'm going to have to deal with it anyways. So the next player that I've added to Utah is none other than Travis Konechny, an 88 overall winger, which is very good. He can play in the first line with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller. So our offense is going to have somewhat of an improvement, I'd say, as we start building towards making the playoffs year after year and eventually winning the Stanley Cup. Well, unfortunately, the Grizzlies are back down to second last in the Central as we're going to finish with a record of 38, 38, and 6, only 82 points. So we were kind of close to make the playoffs. I guess our division is just kind of deep and stacked at the moment. Pause. Detroit Red Wings are going to finish as the best team in the NHL with 56 wins, followed by Florida, Winnipeg, Vegas, and Dallas. Were we near the bottom? No, we were nowhere near the bottom. I mean, we were somewhat near the bottom with 82 points, but still, I guess we are kind of improving. Maybe, not really. Who knows? I don't. Travis Konechny is going to lead our team in goals with 25 and points with 76. He is our best player, followed by Clayton Keller, who had 68. Maselli had 65. He's been honestly producing very well. Dylan Gunther had 57. Nick Schmaltz, 47. Loston Krause, only 44 for our goalies. Yeah, we desperately need new goaltenders, boys. Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point are going to tie for the most points in the NHL at 103, followed by David Pasternak, who had 102. Nathan McKinnon was up there, as well as Cale Makar, Sidney Crosby, and Mikko Rantanen. If we take a look at the goals, Matthews is going to dominate. He had 61, Pasta had 55, Kucherov 45, and Robo 45 as well. As again, another year goes by of us missing the playoffs. Hopefully we can make it very soon, as I don't want to be an awful team for a long time. We need to start improving at least a little bit. And the best team in the regular season, which was the Red Wings, will go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating the Nashville Predators in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. So hats off to the Red Wings finally winning another cup. Nikita Kucherov is going to win the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews, the Maurice Richard, the Norris, Cale Makar. JT Compher is going to win the Conn Smythe. Bobrovsky will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go back to Connor McDavid yet again. Honestly, if I don't end up getting a good team here, I might snap. We need a good team. We need somebody good, please. Oh my God. And they give me the Chicago Blackhawks. Of literally every team in the NHL, this is probably the worst that I could have gotten. Now, of course, the next player that I had to add to the Utah Grizzlies will be none other than Connor Bedard at an 84 overall. I mean, who else would have chosen on Chicago? They are a god-awful team top to bottom. Outside of Bedsy, of course, he will be centering the first line with Keller and Konechny on his wings, so hopefully offensively our team will be much improved from last season, as we need to start making the playoffs, man. Consistently every single season. I'm not saying we have to win the Stanley Cup just yet. We should be able to make the roster with the team that we have here in Utah right now, or in Salt Lake City. So unfortunately, we're not really going to have any improvement this season. We again had 80 points, 37, 39, and 6, third last in our division. So we're not really improving at the rate that I thought we would be. Vegas is going to be the best team in the NHL, followed by Winnipeg, Vancouver, Boston. Clayton Keller is going to end up leading our team in scoring with 84 points, followed by Connor Bedard, who had 80 and 35 goals, so a very good season by him. Travis Konechny is going to have 76, Maselli 44, so there's a big trail off after our first line. We might need some second line, third line depth, and maybe a goaltender. Cale Makar as a defenseman is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring with 106 points, followed by Clayton Keller, who had 104, Braden Point 104, McDavid was up there, as well as Pasta and McKinnon. If we take a look at the goals side, David Pastrnak and Austin Matthews are going to tie with 54 apiece. Kyle Connor had 51, Kaprizov was up there, McKinnon and McDavid as well, who had 40. And the Vegas Golden Knights are going to go on and win another Stanley Cup, again beating Florida in 5 games in the finals. Florida Panther fans are not going to be happy about that is for sure. Cale Makar is going to end up taking home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross Hart Trophy and the Norris Trophy, while the Maurice Richard will be shared between Pasta and Matthews. Mark Stone is going to take home the Conn Smythe, Stuart Skinner the Vezina, and the Selke will go back to Barkov. Alrighty, so here we go on the wheel yet again, spinning it. Hopefully we get a better team than what we've been getting the past few times, and unfortunately that is not going to happen, as we have selected the Columbus Blue Jackets of all teams. So, I mean, they have a couple of good choices, but I was hoping for one of the powerhouses in the NHL, honestly. So, for the next player that I've added to the Utah Grizzlies, it'll be none other than Zach Werenski, 87 overall. He was the highest rated player on Columbus. And also, I have not added a defenseman to the team in a little bit here. So now our top pair is going to consist of Mackenzie Weegar and Zach Werenski, an 86 and 87, which is not bad. Finally, for the very first time in the video, the Utah Grizzlies have made the NHL playoffs, as we went 42, 34, and 6, 90 points on the season. By far our best year so far. The Winnipeg Jets are going to finish as the best team in the NHL, winning 58 games, followed by the Oilers. Florida was up there, New York, and Boston. Connor Bedard and Clayton Keller are going to tie for the lead on their team in scoring with 76 points. Bedsy did have 36 goals, which is very good. Travis Konechny had 69 and 26 goals. Bukestad had 52, Maselli 48, and Gunther 47. Now, if we take a look at the entire NHL, McKinnon's going to lead with 104 points, followed by Nylander, who had 102, and nobody else even had a 100-point season, which is kind of shocking in the NHL. Austin Matthews is going to lead in goals with 66, followed by Jason Robertson's 48, Pastad 48, and McKinnon 47. And for the Utah Grizzlies, a very first playoff series, they are going up against the Winnipeg Jets. Hopefully we can beat them, but honestly, I'm not too confident right now in our team. Now, unfortunately, we did end up losing in 6 games to the Winnipeg Jets, but the good news is they did go on and eventually win the Stanley Cup, beating Boston in 7 games in the finals. So technically, we did lose to the Stanley Cup champion. I mean, we didn't really have much of a playoff series, but Clayton Keller is going to lead our team in scoring with 7 points. Only 1 goal, though. Konechny had 6, Bedard 6, and Gunther 4. Nathan McKinnon is going to win the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy yet again, as well as Matthews winning the Maurice Richard. The Norris is going to go to Quinn Hughes. The Conn Smythe to Kyle Connor. Connor Hellebuck will win the Vezina, and the Selke is going to go back to Connor McDavid. As we again are spinning a wheel, hopefully landing on a better team. Come on, give me somebody good here. Washington, Vegas or Washington? We're going to land on the Washington Capitals, which are, I guess, an okay team to choose from. They did make the playoffs in real life, which I'm honestly shocked about. You guys are not going to be shocked whatsoever by seeing Alexander Ovechkin joining the Utah Grizzlies. He's only an 85 in this roster, but he still will be able to produce and at least score a little bit of goals for us. He's going to play in the second line with Nick Schmaltz and Maselli, so we got a little bit better depth, at least in our forward core. All we're missing, honestly, is a top-rated goalie. If we can get like a 90-plus overall goaltender, I think we could win the Stanley Cup. We are so close to being a cup contender. We did make the playoffs last season. Hopefully, we build upon that. The Grizzlies are going to end up having their best season so far of the video, as we went 43, 28, and 11, 97 points. Again, comfortably making the playoffs this year. Well, I wouldn't say comfortably, as Winnipeg was a wild card team, and they were only 2 points behind us. The Central is stacked. I'm not even going to lie. For the entire NHL, again, Dallas is going to be the best team, winning 51 games, followed by Vancouver, Colorado, and Toronto. Clayton Keller is going to lead our team in scoring with 85 points. He also had 30 goals. Bedard had 84 and 35 goals. Travis Konechny had 77. Weegar, 54. Ovi only had 23 goals and 51 points, so he wasn't really producing that well. And of course, Travis Konechny will have 33 goals, so we did have some goal scoring. Nick Schmaltz had 22 from our big guns, at least. Braden Point is going to lead everybody in scoring with 109 points, followed by Kucherov's 108, Kachuk 105, and McDavid 104. Now on the goal side, I mean, Matthews has pretty much led every single season, I believe. He had 66 this year, followed by Braden Points 49, Pasta 46, Kachuk 45, and Kyle Connor, who had 44. And unfortunately for us, we are going to have to play the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1. That is going to be a tough series, dude. We have ultimately like no shot at winning this. And I mean, we did end up taking Colorado to game 7, but ultimately losing as the Toronto Maple Leafs will go on and beat Vegas in game 7 of the finals to capture the Stanley Cup. That will never happen in real life. Toronto's not winning a game 7 to save their life. Matthew Tkachuk is going to take home the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy, the Art Ross to Braden Point, and Maurice Richard to Austin Matthews. Cale Makar is going to win the Norris for the Conn Smythe will go to Nylander. Alexander Georgiev is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Alexander Barkov. I mean, eventually I will have to get a good team, right? At least I'm hoping so. Oh no, the Edmonton. Oh no, we could have got the Oilers, but instead we are going to go with the Florida Panthers, who honestly have a good team and some good players that I can choose from. But I mean, we were so close to getting Connor McDaddy on the roster. For the next player that I've added to the Utah Grizzlies, it will be Alexander Barkov, a 94 overall two-way centerman who wins the Selke on a regular basis here in NHL 24. He was also the highest rated overall player on the Panthers. Now for Ovi, I am going to slot him on the second line. Bedard is going to move down because he's an 84, and now our top 6 is looking pretty lethal. The only thing we're missing, honestly, is a goaltender at the moment, Connor Ingram at an 85. Now, somehow the Grizzlies are going to fall off a cliff as we are back to being the second worst team in the Central. We went 39, 37, and 6. Only 84 points. Are you kidding me? After adding 94 overall Barkov to the team, somehow we're literally going to get worse. That does not make any sense, man. Vancouver is going to be the best team in the NHL, winning 52 games. Barkov is going to lead our team in scoring. He had 88 points, also 30 goals. Konechny had 78, Keller 76, Bedard 54, and Ovi only 49. I mean, he did have 21 goals, which I guess is decent for an 85, 38-year-old. Connor McDavid's going to lead the NHL in scoring with 108 points, and for goals, it will be none other than Austin Matthews with 59 tucks on the season. And the Vancouver Canucks are going to go on and sweep the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals, so I guess they would end up getting the revenge. No riots in Vancouver, at least this year. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews, the Maurice Richard, the Norris, the Quinn Hughes. The Conn Smythe will go to Elias Pettersson. Igor Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go back to Alexander Barkov, who is now a member of the Utah Grizzlies. All right, I am not even going to lie. I am mad as hell right now. We need to get a good team on the wheel, and we need to start winning some games, and we are going to get the President's Trophy winning New York Rangers, and they have some very good options for me to choose from. Now, honestly, I was very close to adding Adam Fox to the roster, but we had to go with the goaltender, a 93 Igor Shesterkin. I mean, Connor Ingram was really just not cutting it. So now a 93 overall goalie, no excuses here. He should be able to carry us in the regular season at least. We have a pretty good overall team. If we need to, we can add to our D-core, which really only has a very good top pairing, but outside of that. Also, I'm not even going to lie. This is one of the longer videos that I've done using the wheel, adding players to the team. I think we have like 9 players we have added so far, or maybe 8, which is a lot. That just shows how bad Arizona currently is in NHL 24. So finally, we are back in the playoffs again, just barely squeaking in with 91 points. We went 43, 34, and 5, finishing 5th, I believe, in the Central, and we were not even in the top 10 for the entire NHL. Alexander Barkov is going to lead our team in scoring with 84 points, followed by Konechny, 76, Keller had 69, Maselli, 65, Ovi had a pretty good season. Even though he was a -8, he had 62 points. Bedard, only 33 goals and 58 points. Not really going to cut it, brother. What did Igor do here? 34, 27, and 4, 2 shutouts, and 3 goals against per game. That's what a 93 overall goalie is going to get you in NHL 24, boys. Nathan MacKinnon and Braden Point are going to tie for the most points in the NHL at 113, and the most goals, it will go to Nathan MacKinnon, who had 55. Finally, not Matthews, as Matthews is only going to end up finishing with 53. And the Utah Grizzlies are going to have the Dallas Stars in round number 1. Now, we would end up getting swept in round number 2 by the Winnipeg Jets as the St. Louis Blues go on and sweep the Sabres in the Stanley Cup Finals. Nathan MacKinnon is going to pretty much win all the awards. The Norris will go to Cale Makar, the Conn Smythe to Robert Thomas, Vasi's going to win the Vezina, And the Selke trophy will go to Alexander Barkov yet again. I am like so insanely tired of seeing the wheel screen at the moment, as we have just not got any playoff success really at all. And now we're going to have to choose from the Philadelphia Flyers. Of all teams I could have gotten, I've already chosen once from them. So they don't really have too many options that are available. So the next player that I've added to the roster will be none other than Travis Sanheim, an 86 overall defender, which is pretty good. I mean, we have two 86s and an 87. Our D-core does get a little deeper, I guess. I mean, we have a good goalie, a good offensive core, and a good D-core. We theoretically should be competing for a Stanley Cup pretty much every single season moving on from here, as the curse of Arizona is going to continue and linger on here in Utah, as we are like 10 years in and have still yet to win a Stanley Cup. So luckily, the Utah Grizzlies are going to make the playoffs, as we went 46, 28, and 8. Good enough for 100 points. 4th in the Central Division. Usual players are going to end up leading our team in scoring, like Barkov, Bedard, Keller, and Konechny, all having over 65 points on the regular season. If we take a look at Igor Shesterkin, he's going to go 36, 22, and 7. Only one shutout. He's not really been performing that great. A little disappointing, honestly, in my opinion. Now, for the entire NHL, Connor McDavid's going to lead in scoring with 107, and for goals, it's going to go to none other. Actually, Matthews and Pasternak are going to tie at 55 apiece. And in round number 1, the Grizzlies are going to face the Vancouver Canucks. Honestly, it might be hopeless at this point, as we again are going to lose in the very first round in 6 games, as the Tampa Bay Lightning go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games. I don't know how many more years I can take of this, man. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard will go to David Pasternak. The Norris Trophy will go to Cale Makar. Nikita Kucherov is going to win the Conn Smythe. Jake Ottinger, the Vezina, and Barkov, the Selke. All right, so here we are on the wheel yet again. It's been very disappointing of a simulation video so far. And again, we get the Florida Panthers, who are a pretty decent team, have a few more players that I can choose from that are high overalls. Now, for the next player that I've added to the Grizzlies, it will be Barkov's line mate in Matthew Tkachuk, who's a 93 overall, one of the highest overalls in the entire game, so that should definitely help improve this team. And finally, can we just go on and win a Stanley Cup, dude? I've added like 11 players to the roster, and we still have barely made it out of round number 1. So I think I'm going to put a new rule in place if we end up losing in this year's playoffs. What we're going to do is we have up to 2 more seasons left. So if we don't win the Stanley Cup, we have 1 chance next season. But in the off season, I'm allowed to choose whatever player I want from the NHL. I can choose Matthews, McDavid, Crosby, Kucherov, Andrei Vasilevsky, you name it. If we lose this offseason, screw the wheel. It has done nothing but screw me over this entire video. I'm just going to take a player. I might even take Wayne Gretzky. So luckily, again, the Grizzlies are going to make the playoffs, as we went 48, 28, and 6, 102 points on the season. And we, for the first time, I believe the entire video, are going to be top 8 in the entire NHL for the regular season. Alexander Barkov is going to lead our team in scoring, 88 points. Matthew Tkachuk had 87 and 39 goals. Bedard had 72. Keller 71 and Ovi 69. Igor is going to go 40, 21, and 4. 5 shutouts and pretty decent stats, honestly. This is what I thought he'd simulate like for pretty much every single season that we got him. David Pasternak is going to lead the NHL in both goals with 74 and points with 124. My God, did he have himself a season. As yet again, we are going to have to play the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1. And yet again, another first round exit in Game 7 to the Avs, as Tampa Bay will go all the way, beating the Oilers in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, David Pasternak is going to dominate all the awards. Quinn Hughes is going to get the Norris, Nikita Kucherov the Conn Smythe, Freddie Anderson the Vezina, and the Selke trophy will, of course, go to Barkov. So, since we're already breaking the rules, not only am I going to be adding a 98 overall Connor McDavid, but also a 93 Draisaitl and an 89 Matthias Ekholm to the roster. I mean, if we don't win the Stanley Cup this season, I'm done. That's it for Utah. The curse of Arizona will live on for another 20 years or even probably more. There is literally zero reason this roster should not win the Stanley Cup in the NHL this season. So I'm very interested to see if we do end up winning it. If we don't, that is just typical EA Sports, a simulation at its finest. So no surprise here, as we are going to have our best record of the video so far. 55, 21, and 6, 116 points, second in our division and the entire NHL. Only behind, actually, we were tied with the Winnipeg Jets with 116 points. I don't know if they would get the lead over us. I don't know how it works. Maybe they won the season series. Leon Draisaitl is going to lead our team in scoring with 104 points, followed by Connor McDavid, who had 95, Barkov at 82, Kachuk 80, Bedard 73, and Clayton Keller 61. Now for Igor, 48, 19, and 5, also 5 shutouts, and pretty decent stats overall. Braden Point is going to lead the NHL in scoring with 105 points, and for goals, it's going to go to Austin Matthews, who had 53. As the Utah Grizzlies will play in round number 1, the Dallas Stars. And just like I predicted, this team is not going to win the Stanley Cup, as we lost to Colorado in the conference finals in Game 7, and they went on and won the Stanley Cup. Wow, EA Sports, you guys really need to fix your sim engine. Leon Draisaitl will take home the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy. The Art Ross to Braden Point and Maurice Richard to Matthews. The Norris is going to go to Evan Bouchard. Cale Makar is going to win the Conn Smythe, Hellebuck the Vezina, and McDavid the Selke. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave some support on it. Also, check out our merch. The link is in the description below. Well, I went ahead. I relocated Arizona over to Utah or Salt Lake City, wherever they're going. The Utah Grizzlies were pretty consistent, but never consistently good enough to win the Stanley Cup. Even when we had by far the most loaded roster in the entire league, we still could not get it done. That is just EA Sports and the Arizona curse that is over Utah now. Good luck to Utah trying to win a Stanley Cup, but regardless, let me know in the comments, boys, what I should do next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.